Tesup, never purchased one. Can't say it enough. So here's the update for tonight. Got all the stuff ordered. I went inside the house and I ordered from, actually off of Amazon, of course. There's a company that covered all the different seal sizes. So I got the 47 millimeter to the outside, 30 to the shaft for the seal, for a rotational device, rotating motors. This is what it's for. This is what I changed. So this is all cleaned up and ready to go for the bearings that are showing up tomorrow. I'll get to those tomorrow night. I have 2 beam removals to do from structures tomorrow, so I'll be busy all day. Got this all cleaned up. This is pretty shitty because this is part of the Neo magnets. You can see the dirt merchants, they must have taken it to a lathe or something and just went around it to make sure all this is all rounded before they put it inside. They couldn't do it exact when they put it together because they don't have the abilities, I guess. So that is what it is. Bearing surfaces, like I said, they're still good. What I did was, as you can see, this is the original shaft here, and that's what's the only thing. So with this new bearing here, I'll show you this thing. This is the flange bearing. This is the one I got that's actually 3/4 bearing. Whoa, that's coming over at me. So where that sits on top of the housing when it's all put together, that bearing right here, these 2 flat spots I made with the grinder, those 2 will sit there to hold this, to make this spin with the shaft. This just supports that. It's got a built-in wobble plate type thing, so it can adjust for whatever you're putting it on. So that will sit there. This was all the shaft that I had left to clamp onto the original Tesup aluminum shaft. So I said, you know what, screw that. My new design is I welded this in line straight with this the best I could. I'm pretty glad it actually lined up with the straight edges I had clamped to the table, and it actually stayed perfectly straight. I put in a vise when I was doing the rest of it, so they're both in line parallel with each other. So it is straight as can be because that's a solid rod that's straight. That solid rod, my new thing is now, that's going to be there. I went and picked up 1.25 inches. Get that out there. 1.25 inch stainless tubing. So instead of the aluminum piece, this is going to be the piece that goes up through the center. So of course that wasn't the right size. So what I did, come out here real quick, grab one of these. These are pretty tight on here, but anyway, I took these to my lathe, and these are the ones that are off of the Tesup, the original plates in there. These are the 3 bolts. Let me get some light on this thing. So these are bolted to the top plate in 3 points, and then the aluminum shaft, which was not precision in there. So what I did was I took it to my milling machine, and of course this tube is a lot larger. This is 33 millimeters. Theirs was only 30. So I basically machined this so this would be exactly the size. As you can see, they're pretty, this is snug. This one's a little bit, got a tolerance on it to slide. This one will slide if I punch it back. So they're pretty good. They're nice and tight on there, no wobble. So I'm going to basically put a 1/4 inch bolt, stainless steel, through these, and then the nuts on the other side. That'll lock it in. This will actually protrude up because I'm still going to possibly throw those wings out at 1 meter after I do the initial. So I'm going to leave this up, I think 6 inches up higher than the actual top, so I can modify with a plate and then put those arms on there again. Same thing for the bottom, but this will be this tubing. So now that is only, I think this is 5/8. So my thought is this, I'll make a bushing down here around the shaft like so, and I'll have that inside the tube, inside the stainless steel tube. That will be 1 bushing, and then I'll come up here somewhere towards the top, wherever this height of this comes out, sticking out toward there, and I'll put another bushing here inside that tube, and I'll make those, believe it or not, out of the Tesup aluminum, because I know that's half. I remember cutting that down. This is 5/8, yeah. So that's 5/8. So I basically can make a bushing out of this and put them on here and here and have them go up the tube. So they'll go right up that stainless steel tube, and then of course those are the bushings that lock around the flat plates. Now, as we say, these have been heated and treated so much, they're warped out and everything, so I'm not going to bother using these. These are also thicker than 1/8, just a hair. So what I'm going to do is cut my own. You can see how much thicker that is than the 1/8 plate, just by a little bit, probably another 1/16 or so. I'm going to make it out of 1/8 inch plate, so it's actually going to be a tad bit lighter, and I'm going to make my own circles. It's actually 12 inches, and I think theirs is 12 inches too, right? Oh, actually theirs is less. There's like 11 something, so this will be a little bit larger. I'll be a 12-inch cut for there, so it'll be just the wheel size. So I'm going to make a top plate and a bottom plate out of that. This way I'll have the two plates, and then I'm going to use my TIG welder for my aluminum, and I'm going to actually, instead of using the torch and doing that to it, I'm going to straighten that stuff out, and then I'm going to TIG weld it right to these base plates so they don't have any kind of flex coming off it or wobbling. So just waiting on the bearings. We're going to reassemble this whole thing. Came out pretty good, cleaned it up pretty good, so it's looking all right, and got everything else cleaned up. These are all ready to go for that, and I'm going to put a little bit, when I put that, I'll put the blue silicone in here to seal this and also seal that one, and then I will put the red Loctite, the red Loctite, a drop of it on both of those bearing surfaces on the outsides, on the races, and so the bearings will definitely stay still inside the housing so they don't spin, so I don't have any kind of problems with that. But this came out really good, man. I was very surprised. I took a lot of time to make sure that was perfectly straight with the center shaft when it was going from the bottom shaft. So that's about it for tonight. That's the update, and we'll be assembling it. And I got the slow-mo stuff on the camera. I'll take that in tonight, and I'll try to download that and post it. That's it for now. Never buy Tesup.